quorum. Have the minutes of April 25th. What is council's pleasure?
Move to approve the minutes of April 25th, 2017 as presented with attachments. The attachments being the state of the city address by Mayor Michael Schoenike.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there discussion on the minutes?
Once again, I would like to thank Lonnie for the very fine job that she does. Sometimes under difficult circumstances, if there's a lot of noise and hard to hear some of the things, she just does a really good job of putting these minutes together.
Lonnie does an excellent job in just about everything she takes on. Any other discussion on the minutes? Mary?
In the minutes, it said that you'd stated the date of the meet and greet, and you hadn't. You just said that there was going to be a meet and greet, but it hadn't been scheduled yet. So the date and that it was at the senior center wasn't, it isn't, because.
I think you're right that
Yes.
the exact date and time had not been finalized at that point.
And then there's just one other thing. They were posted on May 8th, and they should be posted on April 25th. Because they were the April 25th minutes, but they were posted on today's date on the internet, on the city website.
I think that's how we've always done it.
Yeah,
No.
Usually.
You always post it on the date that the meeting was.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Anybody else from the public? Okay. Roll call on those minutes, please.
Dimmich,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Drew, yes, Mahan,
Yes.
Labrie,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Okay. Those are approved as noted. Warrants payable, please.
Move to approve $142,787.79 in claims against the city.
So motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to play the claims or warrants against the city. Is there any discussion?
A couple items I'll point out to you. One for $15,916.20 to Great West Engineering. This is for Hagen Avenue Water Sewer Permit and the Force Main. And another for S Construction for the Lions Park shed for $6,486. And my understanding that shed will be here in another week or so.
Any other discussion? Any comments or questions from the public? Seeing none, roll call please.
Mahan,
Yes.
Labrie,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Drew, yes, Dimmich.
Yes. Okay. Those are approved and will be paid. Officer reports. It should be clerk's report, resort tax report. What's up? Those are the only two that would, yep, that's it. Any comments or questions on any of those concerns?
I just wanted to point out that for our resort tax for the year, we have 3/4 final for our fiscal year, and we seem to be right on track with what we projected for the budget for revenue for the resort tax.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none. Oh, Mary?
On the drug forfeiture, there was a deferred prosecution for $2,000 that was posted to drug forfeiture, and that is not a conviction, a deferred prosecution.
I'm happy to address that as well. Mary had brought that to my attention earlier, and I chatted briefly with Lonnie about it. I have not had a chance to follow up with, it was a judge's recommendation that we had in writing, so I want to follow up with the judge to find out why that was recommended and to make sure that it's in keeping with policy. So I can take that on and we'll follow up with you,
Thank you.
if that works for you.
Any other comments or questions on the officers' reports? Seeing none, move on to citizen comments. Anybody has any comments that they'd like to share with the council, please come to the podium, let us know your name and address, and let us know what it is that you think we need to know. Seeing none, we move on to mayor's comments. And I will start with the city attorney selection. Before we get into that, there's a couple things I'd like to say. One is, yesterday it was brought to my attention that one of the applicants for the city attorney position had brought up some concerns about one of the council members and her placement on the interview panel. All of the folks that I put on that panel, I chose because I believe I can trust them, and because I believe they brought something, an important perspective to helping me to evaluate the applicants. The applicant's concerns were conveyed to a staff member who in turn brought it to my attention, gave me some possible outcomes, made some possible, suggested some possible courses of action. One of the possible outcomes was the potential of a lawsuit against the city, and against the council member's family, a family member of the council member. I found the whole situation very unnerving, both in light of past concerns and perception, both in terms of what some of the recommendations might have meant, and in terms of what the council members, at least alleged conflict might be. It was brought up before interviews this morning. The council member chose to remove herself from the panel at that time, and I asked the staff member to leave the proceedings as well. Anybody who's been around me at all in the last several months knows that I've been very legitimately agonizing over this decision, and have had a lot of things to consider, and have had some real dilemmas in coming to a decision. We interviewed both applicants this morning. The consensus of those at the table at the end of the interviews was that both applicants were very well qualified, and either applicant would do a more than sufficient job in fulfilling the required roles of the position. Ultimately, what it came down to is that, in my opinion, there is some level of rationale behind why many cities, the city attorney sort of moves in line with whomever the mayor is, and much the same way that the attorney general at the national level moves in line with whomever the president is. And I think some of that is because that anytime the city is being represented in a court, the city attorney is effectively the voice of the city. And whether I like it or not, the mayor is sort of the symbolic face and voice of the city. And so while both candidates are thoroughly qualified, I came to the conclusion that the applicant that I felt was most in line with my philosophy and with how I want to move forward with the city was Becky Nairmore, currently from Alabama. ask for your confirmation on that in just a second. But going back to some of the concerns that were brought up in terms of who should and should not be involved in the process. As I said, I found the whole situation a little bit unnerving, and there has not been enough time to thoroughly investigate whether there's any action that needs to be taken along those lines. But I will be looking into that and acting accordingly. As I said, I am appointing as city attorney Becky Nairmore, and I ask the council's confirmation on that appointment.
Do you need a motion?
I do.
I move to approve that nomination, or I don't know the right words. I move to approve her as your city.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Discussion, please.
Yes, I would like to say that I think this entire process has been handled extremely well. It's been a very good process from start to finish. I wish we could have moved a little quicker, but I feel like we had strong candidates, and when we got to these two, I feel like as a panel, with Mike's help, we vetted them very thoroughly in terms of talking to references, talking with them, and those of you who were able to come last night got a chance to meet them. I completely agree with Mike's statement that we had two very qualified candidates, and I support your decision.
Any other discussion?